The New York Yankees cannot win in extra innings on the road. Why is that? We're going to try and find out on an all-new Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian,
It's hot, aggravating, and the Yankees can't seem to win an extra inning game.
It's unbelievable. We're going to talk about this soon. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. And we have a TikTok page. If you're there, follow us if you can at LockedOn_Yankees. On today's show, we preview the pitching matchups for the finale in the Yankees Reds series, in which the Yankees will try to avoid a sweep. Marcus Stroman made what could be his final rehab start. Didn't go great. We're going to talk about that. But first, I don't want to be one of those podcast hosts who yells. I actually had an insider tell me this week that they like that we don't yell and that we're even keeled, we're level-headed. We still do a good job conveying our feelings about how this team plays without losing our heads. I want to lose my head after watching that game and how it unfolded, because I don't understand how a team can be this bad on the road in extra innings when you get a head start with a runner on second. I don't understand it. Mind-boggling.
The big thing in 2020 coming out of the new rule was that it gave people thought that it gave the road team an advantage, an unfair advantage, because they had a chance to score first, and some teams don't like playing that way. And the Yankees seem to the home team has a significant advantage against the Yankees when it goes to extra innings because they're never able to score. I think this has to do with an organizational philosophy, and this is one of the flaws in teams that are very heavily analytic. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the sport follows analytics to a T at this point. But the teams that seem to be extra analytic, like the Astros and the Red Sox and the Dodgers and the Yankees, are all of the teams that struggle the most in extra innings on the road because they don't believe in pushing the runner over. They don't believe in giving outs away. So their philosophy is to always swing for the fences, to always try to get on base. Well, when you do that with a runner on second base, often that's where you get, pop-ups to the second baseman, pop-ups to the third baseman, ground outs to the right, to the left side of the infield, when you don't get the runner over and you actually wind up giving yourself less of a percentage chance of getting that runner in. So I don't like this. I don't like the way that they approach it. It seems like a lot of their team approaches it the same way. It's not smart baseball. It's not good baseball. And it results in yet another extra inning loss for them on the road.
Well, here's the thing. They are so bad at this that you should get to a point where you think, you know what, maybe we need to change the way we play in extra innings because it's clearly not working. They scored a run. They were actually winning. Of course, they scored the run on a wild pitch and were lucky the way that they scored that run. And it was the first time all year in an extra inning game on the road that the Yankees scored a run. Congrats, I guess. And then obviously they lost it in the bottom of the 11th. And it's funny because I said as the game went into extra innings on Blue Sky, I said congrats to the Reds on their extra inning victory. And a Reds fan I know said, oh no, they don't usually win in extra innings. I'm like, yeah, no, the Yankees are snake bitten in extra innings. Congrats.
But like you said, they were gifted that run. They were the wild pitch. I mean, that run accidentally scored as much as the Yankees did the damage on getting that run in. It's just disappointing that they handle it so poorly. And what's funny too is I actually want to give somewhat of props to Mark Leiter Jr. He actually pitched really well. He pitched really gutsy in the extra inning phase. It just got to the point where it was too much for him. And another focus point of Aaron Boone just managing the bullpen terribly because now you had Mark Leiter Jr. throw about 50 pitches in the last 2 days, and he's now not usable for the rest of the week pretty much.
Yeah. So this game was really disappointing because Yankees are up 3-0. Rodon pitches great.
Yeah.
He was basically like the stopper. You're thinking, okay, they get the lead against Chase Burns. First of all, those first couple of innings, he's going to be great. You know, if I'm going to knock on wood for him because he's going to be an exciting pitcher. He has amazing stuff, the velocity, the movement on his pitches.
Yeah.
He's so young. And if he stays healthy, he's going to be a great major league pitcher.
5 strikeouts against the first 5 batters that he faced in his major league career. That's pretty damn good. I mean, a fastball at 100. He's the prototype of what you want a pitcher to be in today's era, right? A fastball at about 100 miles an hour, a slider in the low 90s, a changeup in the mid 80s. It's a perfect amount of change, perfect amount of velocity, movement, everything. He's got the whole package. You can see why he went 2nd overall out of high school to a major league team. Stacey, he was in high school less than 365 days ago. That's crazy that he's now starting a game for the Reds against the Yankees and pitched really well against the Yankees. So got to give it up for the kid, but you're right. Carlos Rodón yet again was great. And I want to note this. This is the 2nd straight series where the Yankees came in with a coupled amount of losses going in, and they were looking for Rodon or Fried, or Rodon and Fried, to be stopgaps if you go back to the Boston series. And they both, I mean, we'll see what Fried does tomorrow, but Rodon here and Rodon in the last series against Boston gave them a chance to win, was the stopgap, pitched really well, and the Yankees still found a way to lose those games. That is concerning to me.
Yeah, that is very concerning. One thing about the Yankees against Burns, because we have to talk about 1 for 9 the first time through, right? With 6 strikeouts. And then the second time through, the Yankees were 5 for 9 with the triple, the home run. Ben Rice's home run.
Has it landed yet?
That's like it. Someone from Reds fandom said that was like Adam Dunn territory where he hit that ball, because that was unbelievable. Everything looked bad in the first few innings of the game. Then Rice gives them that lead. Then Volpe with the triple, and you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe they'll recover, win the middle game, and go for a series win. Rodon does well. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He's amazing this season. And his bad starts haven't even been that bad.
No,
right?
He did everything. He could have been the first pitcher in baseball today to get to 10 wins, and he did everything deserving to get to that point and still wasn't able to.
So let's get to Loizaga, because that's when things started falling apart. And I feel bad for him because, and this is from James Smythe, research extraordinaire from the Yes Network, Loizaga had a 2.76 ERA. In his last 5 games, he had gone 6 1/3 innings, hadn't given up a run. Then he gives up the walk, infield single, the 3-run double. Oof. Are you mad at Boone for not moving fast enough on that?
Well, yeah, because the trigger seems to be quick for other guys. It's to me, I don't care if he has a quick trigger for the bullpen arms all the time. I don't care if it's the same philosophy that I have with umpires. If you call the low strike all the time, I'm okay with you calling it. I'm not okay with inconsistency. If you're going to have a short leash with all of your bullpen arms, I have no problem with that. If you're going to have a long leash with all your bullpen arms, I have no problem with that. But stay consistent. Mark Leiter Jr., he has let throw 50 pitches in the last 2 days. Jonathan Loizaga let go deep in this spot. But Devin Williams, he would pull really early. Luke Weaver, he'll pull really early. I don't understand the rhythm to what he's doing here. And I get different pitchers are different. You want to treat different ways. I understand that. But there needs to be more consistency with the way that you handle the bullpen. And I just think, again, it was another case of bad bullpen usage. And I want to say, too, did we need Jonathan Loizaga in this game when he came in? Carlos Rodon was pulled with 88 pitches. I don't think it was really necessary to get rid of the starter as early as they did. I know it was 3rd time through the order, and generally teams want to get rid of a guy at that point. But I thought, too, Carlos Rodon removed from this game way too early.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have gone another inning. You could have had him go another inning. If he got into trouble, you could bring someone in. But let's just say he does do that next inning and still does well. Then you have Weaver Williams.
Yeah, I mean, Weaver Williams, you could have went with Cruz. You could have went with Loizaga at that point. Like, you had plenty of options tonight. So I don't know why. And I get totally Clark Schmidt, 88 pitches, that spot, great start, pull him. I get doing this with Will Warren, right? Like, I get doing it with your different pitchers, especially the younger guys. You have a good start. You want to keep their confidence high. You pull them there, 88 pitches, no runs. It's fine. I like that. But Carlos Rodon's one of your veteran pitchers, makes $32 million a year. You got to give him the chance to pitch deep into these games, especially when you're on a prolonged, you're on a road trip here, but a long stretch of games here. Again, you kind of should have thought you didn't have Mark Leiter Jr. available for this game because of the amount of pitches they threw in the last couple of days. So, Stacey, I don't know why you wouldn't let Rodon try to get another inning out of it. I know you don't like going over 100 pitches, but you had 12 to play with. Even if you let him get a batter or two,
right?
He was rolling too much for me to pull him at that where they pulled him.
And that's the thing that bothers me the most. I'm not going to say that a game on June 24th is a must win, but with the way the Yankees have been playing lately, it is a must win because they're not getting on any kind of roll. They lost the first game to the Reds. You want them to, you should want to do the best thing possible for your team. And I think leaving Rodon in would have been the best thing at that point. Again, if he does get into trouble, then you bring someone in. But 88 pitches, why are you taking him out after 88 pitches? That's ridiculous. You let Clark Schmidt go 103 the other day.
Yep, exactly. I'm not going to call it a must win, but I'm going to call it a gotta have it.
Right. Like, okay, not a must win, but it's a win that is needed to help this team possibly they've been in a prolonged funk. Okay. Yeah. For 2 weeks, they have looked like garbage, basically, give or take a few games. Like there are a few games in between that they didn't look like complete hot butter.
You know what?
Garbage.
As a manager, know that your ace is in as a stopgap situation and let him pick the team up here. Yeah. And Carlos Rodon was good enough to allow him to do that. It's not like this is a Carlos Rodon start where the numbers look good at the end, but he was getting beaten and batted around all day.
He was good.
He was great all day. Why would you not let him go a little further? Again, the younger pitchers like the Clark Schmidts of the world, I get pulling them at 88 pitches. Keep the confidence high, no problem with that. But a spot like this with Rodon where he's pitching well and he's your ace and he's a veteran, let him go a little longer. That to me made no sense.
Right. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, we're getting close to 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah. I think we have fewer than 50 to go. So if you're not yet subscribed, please do so. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in our description. You get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out the lineups during the season every day, roster moves and breaking news so you don't have to keep checking social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, Marcus Stroman could be coming back this week, but is that a good thing? We'll talk about it next.
You ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. And whether you're growing your savings or planning for a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over all of your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building some of your own personal wealth. And I love now with Monarch, I can have all my accounts available in one place. I know what I'm spending on what month, all the time. I can keep track of all my money way easier than having to go through different maneuvers to figure out where I'm spending and how I'm spending it. Monarch makes it so simple for me. Take control of all your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
So Fan Mail Friday is in a few days. And if you're on YouTube, you can go to our channels page. You click on the post tab and you will see the latest post telling you to leave your Fan Mail Friday questions underneath it. The deadline is Thursday at 5 p.m., which I think I'm going to make it be every week, but that's the place where you leave your questions. Okay, so Marcus Stroman made his what could be final rehab appearance with Somerset.
We'll see. They might have to keep him there, but go on.
Yeah, on Tuesday night, he went 3 2/3 innings. He gave up 5 runs on 10 hits with 2 walks, only 1 strikeout. He threw 65 pitches. His pitch count was 70. That's what the limit was going to be, so he was right in there, but that's not great.
Yeah, all kinds of bad. To be performing like that in Double-A when he's supposed to be at the level where he's returning now. 70 pitches is at the level they want him at to bring him back to the major league level. So he's ready to come back, not necessarily at full strength, but They generally believe that you can get to 70 pitches at the minor league level and then work your way up to your normal workload of 100 pitches while you're at the major league level. Stacey, I don't know if there's going to be much of a desire to call him up if he's putting on a performance like that in Double-A. This is a major league pitcher who's getting paid major league money. If he's doing that in Double-A, I don't know if they're going to call him up to the major league level.
Right. Well, here are some great numbers. His ERA was 11.57 in his 3 starts in the majors this season. You haven't seen him in a while. He's been out since April. That was in 9 1/3 innings. In his 3 rehab outings, he had a 6.97 ERA in 10 2/3 innings.
In the minor league level, too, which is quite frankly a place where he should be dominating. I mean, look at what Jonathan Loáisiga did when he made his minor league appearances. It took him about a week to get back to shape, and they put him in because he was just so dominant down there. This is not a good sign if you're Marcus Stroman. To be pitching like this. I know the Yankees need guys at the pitching level, so especially at an extra starter, but I don't see the motivation for the Yankees to call him up right now when he's pitching like this at this level. Yeah,
I don't either. I think they probably should stick with Alan Winans
for now.
Yeah. Unless they, I don't know, unless they piggyback them. But while Yarbrough's out, they need someone, obviously. You're paying money for Marcus Stroman, who's not going to hit that innings limit because, as I said, he's only pitched 9 1/3 innings so far this season. And it's interesting. In those 9 1/3 innings, he had 7 strikeouts. And in the 10 2/3 innings in the minors, he had 9 strikeouts. So not much of a difference.
No, really not. It's upsetting for him. We knew coming into this year that it was kind of a big year for him incentive-wise too, financially. And he has not lived up to it. Getting hurt was one thing, but coming back and not pitching at a level where they need him at. He says that he wants to come back and serve any purpose that he possibly can for this team as long as they can help win. But I don't know what the purpose is if he's going to have an ERA like that, to be honest with you.
Right. So we didn't bring this up in segment 1 when we were recapping the Yankees' latest extra innings loss to the Cincinnati Reds. But Brian wanted to talk about something that happened in Tuesday night's game. So take it away.
Yeah, I don't think it has too much to do with the loss, so I didn't think it meant, it was a huge deal to bring up during segment 1 because it didn't really encapsulate the game. But in extra innings, you saw the Jazz Chisholm Jr. at bat, and warranted, we'll both note that the first strike called from that at bat was unbelievably low out of the strike zone. I get it completely. Part of being a professional athlete, though, is being incredibly mentally strong and being able to understand bad calls happen and move on. I have no problem with Jazz getting the bad call and making it a point to the umpire and telling the umpire that's a bad call and letting his piece be heard. That was strike 1. He struck out in the entire at-bat and was not good. In a big spot in the game when they needed him to come through to potentially win this game, in a spot where they normally struggle, in a spot where in the season they're currently struggling. A lot of reasons here where you need to buckle down and have a good at-bat there. And are you going to get bad strike calls all the time? You want to look to somebody that's the king of them? Look at Aaron Judge, the captain of the team. Bad strike calls happen on him all the time. And there are times when Aaron Judge lets his piece be heard by the umpire, but he moves on and gets to the next pitch. Jazz Chisholm Jr. stuck to that the entire at-bat, kept complaining through every pitch of the at-bat, struck out, kept saying words to the umpire. The inning continued. The inning ended. They went through a commercial break, and then when they came back, he kept jawing at the umpire and then played the classic, what, me? You're throwing me out of the game? Why are you throwing me out of the game? When the umpire tossed him because Jazz was standing at third base, screaming, and God knows what he was saying, but yelling nonstop. Then saying to the umpire, I wasn't looking at you, when the umpire knows who he's talking to when he's yelling out loud, just because he's not addressing the umpire.
Right.
And the umpire throws him out, and Jazz looks stunned beyond belief that he's getting thrown out of the ballgame. Gets thrown out of the ballgame, has to be restrained and pulled back by Jason Dominguez, Aaron Boone. When Aaron Boone's pulling you back from the umpire, that's a problem. Stacey, I don't understand. You have to be better than that in situations like this. I get it. I was frustrated too. And it was a ball. No doubt in my mind. It changes the entire at-bat. All of those things are completely valid. At the end of the day, you're a baseball player. There's going to be bad calls made. You got to pick your head up. And I'm okay. I even get it if you get thrown out in that spot, right? You strike out in that at bat, and then you lose your cool, and in that spot get thrown out. I get it. But you had the rest of the inning to go into the dugout, go into the clubhouse, throw a tantrum, lose your mind, but then get back on the field and keep your cool.
Right.
To get back on the field and keep screaming and then get thrown out of the game, when the manager does that, it's one thing. He doesn't affect the game directly. He's not on the field. He's not getting another at-bat. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is. Mm-hmm. So you got to keep your cool in situations like that. That's what really bothered me about this game. You can't let that happen.
Right. Now, you mentioned, there are going to be missed calls. I saw something on Reddit about the umpires. Altogether, there were 1,040 missed calls last week.
I mean, the umpires are awful. I'm not at all making an excuse for how bad the umpires are.
No, I'm just giving you a number and it's so odd to me that they're getting worse and they're making it so people will want ABS.
Yeah, no, and they're going to, and we're going to get it sooner than later, and it'll make things like that a lot better. But for the time being, you got to be better than that if you're Josh Chisholm Jr. You just have to be. It's a bad call. It's annoying in the moment, but get over it. And when you get back on the field, he had plenty of time to cool off.
Yeah. When
you get back on the field, move on. That's the best part. That's what's so right. There's another at bat. There's another inning. Everything switches really quickly. You got to be able to move on, though.
Yeah. All right, coming up, we'll preview the finale between the Yankees and the Reds, in which the Yankees are going to try and not get swept. And we'll take a look around the league next.
Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. And unlike the usual pills that take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rugiet might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. So head over to Rugiet.com/LockedOnMLB and use code LockedOnMLB to get 15% off today. That's Rugiet.com/LockedOnMLB. That's RUGIET and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. And not only do we cover your team every day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. Check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, as well as streaming on our YouTube channel. Get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So, Stacey, we will head to Game 3 where the Yankees look to make it a 2-1 series loss, I guess. Another stopgap, though, you'll get Max Fried on the mound. He's 9-2 at a 2.05 ERA. He'll go up against Brady Singer, who's 7-5 with a 4.13 ERA, and this game will be another prime video game, a 7-10 start.
4.13 ERA is the danger zone for the Yankees.
Yep, usually is not the effective spot for them. So we'll see if they can make a little bit better out of it because, yeah, that's usually an ERA where they struggle. But they get their ace on the mound, so I guess that is a positive.
I guess. I mean, Rodon pitched really well, and they still ended up losing Tuesday night's game. It's just I don't have confidence in this team right now. It's a drag watching them play the last 2 weeks. And, I know they'll turn things around. They usually do. They're better than they're playing. For the most part, the pitching has been fine. It's the offense that's the problem. And tonight was kind of an outlier with Loaizaga doing what he did. And I feel bad for him that happened. It's just, I really don't like watching this team and seeing the other team tie the game and thinking, they're going to lose this game if it goes into extra innings.
Yeah, and it feels like that every single night, pretty much. It's every night where it feels like if they go to extras, it's automatic loss. I think I texted you during this game, and I said, "Well, it's going to extras, so you can mark this in the loss column."
Yeah, like if they have some sort of, if you're a betting person and they have some sort of line for extra innings, just always bet against the Yankees because they are atrocious.
It's almost a guarantee at every single game. It's ridiculous.
I just, oof. It's partly the team because these are grown men. They should know what to do in these situations. But it's also the manager. Like, you need to start saying to these guys, okay, this isn't working. We need to like change our strategy when we're playing in extra innings. You can't all be going for the 4-run home run when there's only one guy on, but you have to move the runner over. The first person up has to move the runner over by any means necessary. And if that means that these dudes who are making millions of dollars need to learn how to bunt because this extra runner is not going away, it's not going away. Learn how to bunt.
I think a big thing too is that their analytics tell them that the team that gets up in the top of the inning needs to get 2 runs to really give themselves the best chance to win. Because the other team is already starting with a runner in scoring position, so it doesn't really matter. But you can't get 2 runs without getting the first across the plate.
Right.
So you got to work on that a little bit because, again, like you said, it's beyond frustrating and it's unacceptable to be this bad. Fun fact, Stacey. Since they instituted this rule, where the ghost runner exists since 2020, when Manfred put the ghost runner in, the Yankees have the best record at home in extra innings and the worst record on the road. How is that even possible?
It's almost the exact opposite too. It's
crazy. It makes no sense to me. So they got to figure out how to fix it because it's getting to the point where it's absolutely ridiculous with this team.
Yep.
Some news around the league, Stacey. I don't know if you saw this. Noah Syndergaard is signing a minor league deal with the White Sox. We haven't heard of Noah Syndergaard in years at this point. I'm utterly shocked, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, good for him for trying. You know, he's one of those guys who probably should have had a better career. You know, like his stuff was like really good, and it was like him and DeGrom, and the Mets had those guys on that team, and it just didn't really work out for him. So I hope things are positive for him, but.
So weirdly enough, the last time we saw Noah Syndergaard on a mound was 2023 with Cleveland, where he gave them 6 games and was out after that. Before that, he was with the Dodgers that year. He pitched with the Phillies, the Angels, and the Mets for all those years. But you're right, a guy that coming into the league, you would have thought was going to be an absolute stud in this league. I mean, had all the makings to be a great pitcher, and good for him for getting another opportunity. It's a minor league deal with the White Sox. Yeah. So we'll see what he's able to do because it's really interesting to see him back in the league. Also, bad news for the Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll is headed to the IL with a wrist fracture. It also looks like most of the MLB insiders seem to think the Diamondbacks are going to be one of the big sellers at the deadline this year. A lot of their players, Eugenio Suarez, and so it looks like they could be a big seller at the deadline here. So we'll see. I think the Corbin Carroll injury, though, might escalate that and entice them to sell a little quicker because if a wrist fracture is not going to be an injury you come back from quickly.
No. Definitely
especially
not.
As a baseball player.
That's disappointing. He's a good player.
And fun. It's tough when young players in the league get hurt like that.
Yeah.
Stacey, some other news. The Reds DFA'd Jeimer Candelario, and they ate $45 million that was left on his deal, which is stunning for a franchise like this. They're not known for eating money on contracts, so I think it is kind of a positive move in the future of baseball that the teams with less money are willing to eat out contracts because to me, that's great. And if a player is not performing and teams are willing to get themselves out of deals like this, it shows a little bit of progress in teams that don't like to spend very often. It took them a while to get out of the Joey Votto contract. For years, they refused to trade him or get rid of him because they didn't want to spend the money that was due to him. So to get rid of $45 million in this contract, I think is great. And it's good for Reds fans because it shows progress with a franchise because I don't think the Pittsburgh Pirates will be doing this anytime soon.
Yeah, that's I was actually shocked. Like legitimately shocked when I saw that and saw how much money that they're willing to
That's a large amount of money to eat.
Yeah.
It's a large amount of money. So I was shocked too. And Candelario's a good player. I'm sure he'll find his way somewhere else. But hey, the Reds didn't like the production they were getting. They decided to move on. You gotta applaud them for something like that.
Yep.
And lastly, Whit Merrifield has announced his retirement from baseball. His agency announced it, Warner Sports Management. Good career, World Series champion with the Kansas City Royals. Really one of the first all-around utility guys that we got in this new movement in baseball when this happened. So just it makes you feel older the more you see players that you watch their whole career retire.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. And then I realized, I'm like, right, the Royals won the World Series 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
2015 was 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about. And it seemed, at first I thought to myself, wow, why? And then realized, oh yeah, he's been around a while. He's had a pretty solid career. So
the back-to-back appearances in the World Series, that team was really good. And that's the example of a small market team that's their chance of winning, right? Build it really good with your farm system, have those players succeed. But unfortunately, if you're not able to pay them, you can't really sustain that success very much.
Right. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McCann. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.